Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Farm Bells number
Welcome
five.
back. Number 5.
I know. I feel like every time I start out with, I can't believe we made it, blah, blah, blah. So I need to cut that out. Every time I edit, I'm like, I need to shut up
But
because of
it's
course of
true.
that.
We got to have some higher self-confidence in
I
ourselves of
know.
doing this. We're
Yes,
doing it.
so true. We're doing it. We're in it. We have the Instagram, we have the YouTube, we have the Spotify. We're going for it. So here we are with number 5.
Oh, yeah.
And I really loved the garden episode last week.
Me
I've
too.
really been in the gardening mood. I still have my seeds over here, and I'm going to be hydrating some seed starting mix to start that tomato that I was talking about last time.
Yay!
I haven't decided which variety I'm going to do, but it's hydrating. I actually, quick tip before we get into the meat.
Yeah.
We have cats and we get the litter in the bulk like bin things. And so I clean those out and I put water and the seed starting mix in there. It has a little
Oh,
lid
clever.
and I hydrate it in that because I save it from like years, like I still have some
Right.
left over from the summer garden and it gets so dry
It's
and
like a
like
little greenhouse in
hydrophobic.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That is so
that is
cool.
what I will be doing.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
I've started kind of the garden planning. I draw out my layout and then
Mhm.
eventually I'll just write kind of like what I want where. I used to get like really into it and draw like the grids and do like square
Mhm.
foot gardening and put like whatever seed I was going to put where. Now I don't have time for that. I'm like pepper here, cilantro there, like just kind of gather my thoughts. So when I'm out there, it's quicker. But
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
totally in the garden mode also, and I cannot wait to go out there and like weed. I saw you were weeding today or
I
yesterday
was
or
weeding.
sometime
Yes.
recently,
Yeah.
and I am like so ready to go get my hands dirty.
I know. I finally, now that Nate's home, my husband's home. I don't think he was here
Yay!
last
No, he
episode. So
wasn't.
he is here, even though he's not podcasting with me, but he is here. So one of the first things I did when I had time was I took my butt out there and weeded my garden. I took down all the things that we talked about. I'm not anywhere near done. I'm like 1/4 of the way done, maybe.
Feels
But
good to get out there though.
yeah, I feel good after just doing one bed. I'm like, worst case
Yes.
scenario, even if I don't get out here anymore, I have one bed.
And the
Done.
best news is the weeds in that bed will not grow back until
Mhm.
springtime. So that bed is done. That's
Yes.
huge.
And all the Amazon packages we got for Christmas, I put all that cardboard out there. I've
Layer,
been
layer,
saving
layer.
it. Yes. Yeah, so I hope it pays off. We will see.
Oh my
Mm,
gosh, that's so exciting. I have been in the mindset too.
good. Yay. Well, it's going to be coming up almost New Year's. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve when we are
That's
recording this.
crazy.
I
I,
know.
I didn't realize that till today. I
Mhm.
was like, I asked my husband, I was like, when is New Year's? He's like, today, tomorrow. We looked at our phones. We're
Do
so
y'all
out of
do
it.
anything for New Year's?
Just champagne at home,
Mhm.
just hang out. I mean, obviously date nights are hard, but even pre-kids, that's what we did was just
Yeah.
champagne, watch the ball drop, just and then honestly, we don't even watch all the New Year's shows or anything. We do like back and forth a little bit, but it's just too much.
Yeah, even before I met Nate, I've never really liked I like the idea of New Year's. I love
Yeah.
starting fresh, but
Yes,
I
me
have
too. Me
never
too.
really been to a good New Year's Eve
I feel the
party.
same way. I'm all for like resolutions and goals. Like
Mhm.
I love Mondays. I love fresh starts.
Yep.
Like I love like resetting my mind. But yeah, the whole New Year's party thing is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like to drink some champagne and watch the ball drop, but that's about it.
Yep, yep, exactly. That's what we do too. We do like a little charcuterie
Yeah,
situation
yeah,
and
yeah. Yep.
and
Snack and chill date night.
we tell the kids they can stay up as late as they want. There's no bedtime on New Year's Eve. So usually for my son, that's a pretty late night.
It's like
My
10
daughter's
o'clock, 10:30.
yeah, my daughter still goes to bed pretty early.
Oh,
So
that's so cute.
that's what we will be doing tomorrow.
That's fun. That's cute.
So anyway, today I think that we've already talked about the chickens, we've already
Hmm.
talked about the garden,
Hmm.
and now I think we should talk about the meat. Give
Let's
us
do
the
it.
meat.
It's
And
very important.
yeah, we earlier when Molly and I were conversating about this prior to our recording, we were talking about the cows, the sheep. Should we include meat chickens
I was
today?
just going to ask you that. Let's start with cows and sheep and see how much talking we do there.
Okay.
But I mean, chickens is a huge part too.
Yeah, and pigs.
Yeah, maybe
So
just
many
all the meat. We'll
I
just do
forgot
all the
all the
meat.
meat.
We have
Yeah.
lots of meat going on,
Yeah.
which is ironic because January, my New Year's thing is doing the carnivore diet. So,
Oh, really? Oh, I want to hear about
yes.
that.
Oh my gosh, everyone should look into it, Google it. It's awesome. I've done it for only a few days in the past, but I'm really bad at sticking to things unless I'm
Mm-hmm.
like really set my mind to it. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I love resolutions and stuff. So January is carnivore diet. Jacob and I are doing it for inflammatory reasons because it's supposed to be really like good for anti-inflaming your whole body.
Right.
And it's easier for us since we have a dairy cow. So it's it's
Mm-hmm.
meat and then animal byproducts. So all meat, bacon's included, but obviously it's really fatty. So like
Yeah.
that shouldn't be your
Processed
main
stuff.
meal, but you can do like milk, my homemade yogurt, butter, all the eggs, anything like that. So now we got to get creative and I can make cheese and then we can like air fry cheese for a cheese snack and have like crunchy
Wow.
cheese snack. And
Okay.
so anything animal related is on the list, not even vegetables, nothing like that.
Wow.
Straight carnivore, technically no coffee, no wine. So we'll see how I do, but
How long is it like a
I want to do it for the whole month of January and just see
okay.
how I feel because I have really bad carpal tunnel, which is an
Mm-hmm.
inflammatory issue. And I feel like it would really help if I could stick to it. So I want to do it at least for a few weeks and see if I see a difference and then start adding some stuff back in and not be so strict. But
Yeah.
I am excited. So on the meat topic, we will be
Yay.
eating a lot of meat the next month.
Yeah, good luck. I heard doesn't Roots and Refuge Jessica do that? I swear
She
I
did too.
looked at the video.
And there's been a lot of people that have done it that have seen like really good results with inflammatory problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to see like if it actually works or if I want to feel energetic again and like practice what we
Mm-hmm.
preach, you know, and
Yeah.
no snacks at night and not eat crap and just, I want
Mm-hmm.
to feel healthy
Good.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
I'm
think
excited
that.
to try it and see if it works.
Congratulations. That's
It is.
exciting.
Hopefully I can stick to it. Now that it's out there, I have some motivation
Yeah.
to stay
That'll
with
be
it.
fun. Well, I'm
It
glad
will
that
be fun.
Jacob's doing it with you. That'll be a little easier.
Yes, yes. Hopefully he sticks to it. He's the bad influence. So
Yeah,
hopefully
I believe it.
if he stays strong, I can stay strong.
Cool. Oh, wow. So what meat animals do you have on the farm right now? You
Right
have
now, we
wait, let
really
me guess.
have
Let me guess. Let me guess. You got what, do,
it's nothing.
the sheep.
Only the sheep. That's all
Only
we
the
have.
sheep. Yeah,
Only the
yeah.
sheep. So
Okay.
we did have our beef cows. They're all in the freezer. We
They're
did
all
have
done.
pork
Yep.
chop, who
Mhm.
just recently went to the freezer. Our meat chickens we do in the summertime, which I want to do a little later next year when it's cooler.
Yeah.
And then, so right now we just have our sheep and they look pregnant. I don't know. I'm really bad at this, but they do look, they might have just had a lot of hay, but they do look pregnant. So I'm hoping for lambs. They usually come like in like February, March for us. We don't, the rams are always with them. So there's no like set schedule, but that's just kind of how it usually happens. But yeah, right now all we have is our sheep, but in the freezers we have all types of lamb, beef, pig, chicken. So we're covered in the freezer, but right now it's been kind of nice. Like we don't really have a lot of animals. We have our milk cow and her baby, the sheep,
Yeah.
and my laying hens.
Yeah, that's a nice little quiet
It is. It's calm and
group.
quiet. And I've been able to do like focus on more kitchen stuff, which has been cool.
Mhm.
But
Like
yeah, right.
cooking kitchen stuff.
Yeah, cooking kitchen stuff
Yeah.
like sourdough and
Mhm.
learning, more with that kind of thing,
Yeah.
practicing my kitchen techniques.
It's crazy the amount of time that you get back. Do you eat your ducks? Do you have ducks? You have ducks.
We do have ducks. We got them for Ford when he couldn't have chicken eggs, so we would only eat duck eggs. And they're dual purpose, so you can eat them, but they're mainly dark meat. And Jacob and I both prefer white meat. The
Mhm.
kids love dark meat, so they would probably love it. But they're kind of just like ornaments on the farm now.
Yeah.
They're just on the pond. We haven't found their eggs in like a year.
Oh my
When it's
God.
like when it's like springtime again, we'll lock them in the duck coop for a couple weeks and they'll
Okay.
start laying in there more regularly because I love baking with duck eggs. It's way better to bake with.
Interesting. Okay.
It's what they do in Europe.
Ooh.
So I started to do it and I loved it. So we will get them again, and we want to incubate them and hatch
Yeah.
them in the spring. So I do need their eggs, but right now they're just freeloaders.
What's different about them baking? Just because they're bigger, or is there something with like the protein?
I think it's just they're bigger, and the protein, the B12, a lot of the vitamins, everything
Mhm.
is almost doubled in them. So I think it just
Oh,
makes it
wow.
rise more.
Cool. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting,
Do
right?
well, y'all have a pond.
They do taste different. But do you
Okay.
want to know the best egg out of chicken, guinea, duck, turkey? I've tried
What?
them all. Turkey. Turkey eggs are my absolute
Really?
favorite eggs. So we had
Huh.
the worst turkey hatching season. They were so hard to hatch, harder
Turkey's
than
hard
black
to
copper
hatch,
Marines.
yeah.
They were so hard. It was a complete fail. We're going to try again, but it was awful. And so finally at the end of the season, I was just like, whatever, let's just eat them. Like they're not hatching well. Let's just
Mm,
enjoy them. They
yeah.
were so good. Like so sweet, so good, so much better than chicken eggs, way better than
Huh.
duck eggs. Like so
Yeah.
good.
That's funny. I can't remember if we ended up eating because we tried to hatch ours. I think we were trying really hard to up our flock with them.
Yeah.
But I know we had considered eating them. I can't remember if we did or not. I wish we had.
They were good. They were really good.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have turkeys again, but I guess we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it was hard. I kind of wanted, they were just so expensive to buy, even as
Yeah.
chicks from like online hatcheries. And so we were like, we're just going to breed our own and,
Mhm.
obviously just keep having them. But they were so hard to hatch that I kind of want to just buy a few each year
Mhm.
just for like
Yeah.
holidays and stuff because we
Yeah.
like chicken just as much.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't really use them. I think we had ideas like, oh, we eat like turkey meat all the time.
Yeah,
We use
exactly.
for,
Like
like
deli meat. Yeah,
yeah, but that never really happened, and we would use them for special occasions, and people only
exactly.
wanted them for special occasions. So I think that's what we're gonna end up doing too, is only getting a couple, like just for us. And
What's cool about like what we do with animals and fruits and vegetables and stuff is like we really do find out like what we eat and how much, and like different substitutes that we can do. Like you
yeah,
don't have to have turkey, you can just have chickens.
yeah, yeah.
But what animals do y'all have right now? Y'all don't have too many either right now.
No, we have the sheep, and we have partially we have the piglets. We own the
Yeah,
piglets.
yeah,
They
yeah.
are just spending a little bit of time at our neighbor's house.
They're at boarding school.
Yeah, they are. It feels like it. Yeah, they're easy to forget about but we just got a thing of food because we still give them like food to feed
Pay
them
for, yeah.
and stuff. So we just got some more food from the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, we do still have pigs. So I don't know what that's gonna look like. This year is gonna be different. I think we feel like equal parts reinvigorated, but also we just kind of have a different outlook on
Same.
what we're doing. And I think we've just finally come to the terms of we were doing too much and
Hmm.
really honing in, dialing down the sheep. We had a really hard sheep year, and I was talking to Molly about it before we started podcasting, but the sheep have been fine, but for some reason this year, I don't know if it's like the parasite load or what, just because of the what, because I know bugs everywhere were awful. But we've just had a lot of sheep deaths this year that we don't really know. We don't really know
Like
the
why?
cause, and that's the hard and frustrating part of it. And we're worming them, and we're doing all these things. We're
All the right
rotational
things.
graze them.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, like your soil and your land is like better than it's ever been. So
Mhm. Yeah,
it is so weird.
exactly. And right now we're not rotational grazing, but it's only been like that for like 3 months.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
No, and I think it started we had the first kind of signs at the latter part of the summer anyway. So I'm not sure what's happening with that. That part is really discouraging for us, but we haven't had any other issues with any of the other animals with that.
Yeah,
And I had heard, I don't remember if it was Homesteady, but on another podcast before we even really got into farming, he had been some podcaster man farmer guy had been talking about how they don't have sheep anymore because they were so susceptible to parasites, and they all of their sheep just kept dying and dying and dying, and they finally gave up. And that stuck with me, and for the past couple years it's been like, oh, can't relate to that, we've never had an issue.
right.
But now, and so I think when we're thinking about what we're doing with the meat, we're trying to figure out, just like crystal ball it and try to figure out like what are we going to do differently because we like the sheep and we love to eat lamb, but
Yeah.
it's really discouraging and we don't want them to just like keep dying.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know what we can change. I don't know what we can do differently if we need to have the pasture rest for a while. We thought about that. Because we have a lot of meat in the freezer right now. So we thought about taking a break from the sheep, just not doing
Like
sheep
totally.
anymore for right now, and maybe pulling some chicken tractors through the back.
Well,
Uh,
that's not a bad idea.
that's where they've been for a while, but
The
we also
hard
did.
part though is those were like your first animals. Y'all have been
No.
working on that flock forever.
Yes, yes. So that's part of the emotional side of it, and that's real. That can be a conversation all in itself of like
The
mentally
hard parts of farming.
balancing. Yeah, the hard parts, like they're not our pets. And there have only been like two sheep that I have like, it's been like a gut,
A
like
hard.
a hard, hard thing for me when we either
Yeah.
harvest them or when they pass away.
Yeah.
But we have bred most of the sheep here and it's been a long road. We've invested a lot of time, a lot of heart, a
But
lot
you've
of
had a lot,
everything.
like they've been huge blessings. You know, you've had
Mhm.
freezers full of meat for years from them.
Yeah,
And sheep are easy to get again.
yeah,
Like
they are.
so like
Yeah.
it is hard like putting so much time and effort and money into things like our pigs.
Mhm. Yeah,
But if we do want another pig, we can get another pig, you know.
yeah, exactly. And we know a guy, Nate. We bought sheep from him a couple years ago, and because Nate is social butterfly, he like really hit it off with this dude. Now they're
Of
like
course.
friends.
They're
So,
like
and
best friends.
yeah, he has a farm, I think in Western Virginia, somewhere out in the mountains, and he has like really, really good breeding stock. That's where we got Haas. Uh,
Oh, okay.
so we can always get more sheep from him.
True.
But yeah, and I didn't want to talk about it because it's one of those. It's the one that breaks my heart.
A hard one.
Haas died a couple weeks ago,
Oh.
and he was our ram, and it's really
He
gonna
was
make
the
me
one that
cry
got your
thinking
other
about it.
sheep to like you.
Yes, he is the one. He was the most like a pet out of all of our farm animals, and it sucks not knowing if we
Like
could have
what
prevented
happened?
it, not knowing what to do. So I think after that happened, we had really been discouraged. Discouraged is the only way I can
Yeah.
say it. Like it's really
Because you're
discouraged.
like, what else can I do better?
Yeah, what can we do better? And we don't want to like self-sabotage. If something's not working, then maybe we should just take a break. But
Yeah.
we know we like the lamb. It's been going well. We had a great lambing season. And
You,
so part of me is like, maybe because our population is going up, like, just like the natural balance of life. Like, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Maybe. For sure. I mean, who knows? Like, y'all
Yeah.
are doing all the right things. And
Yeah.
it just happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about
So
cows though? What is y'all's cow plan? Because
I'm,
I know you still have like freezer full and like deer meat and other red
yeah.
meat. So
Yeah, a lot
what?
of deer meat, that's for sure. But we are low on the cow. We are due for another cow. We've talked about, realistically, I'm sure we're going to get another cow or two.
What,
If
just like a grow out like steer?
Yeah, sorry, eggnog.
No. Oh, yum. That's what we've been talking about it too. That's why I'm curious. I think my vote was just get two steers because we have to do
Mhm.
two at a time because our children eat so much. So I'm like, we got it. I just want a couple grow out ones just
Yeah,
to grow out and be done. And
yeah,
he wants to get, the whole breeding
yeah.
family
We're
again,
definitely not doing the breeding
which I don't
thing.
want to do.
We are very after the pigs. We are discouraged on that. But before we had the kids, well, not before we had the kids, but when the kids were younger, we did
Little,
the
little.
bottle baby calves, and that was fun.
It's
But
fun and cute.
yeah, it's fun and cute for a while. But and because they're cheap, I mean, like literally like
So
75
cheap.
bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You make up for it when you buy all the the milk and the
Yes.
supplements.
Yeah, and when you're getting up I mean, because it's just like any other baby, you gotta get up
They
twice a
have to
day,
eat.
like, no
Yeah.
matter what, rain or shine, your butt is out
You're out
there,
there.
and, yeah, you're out there no matter what. You can't have plans, you can't you can shift it a little bit, but
Kids
bottle
got to
baby
eat.
yeah, kids gotta eat, exactly. So I think we're probably not gonna do another bottle baby just with Nate's schedule, and now with me having
Right.
school, I do not
It'd be
Lord have
impossible.
mercy, I do
You'd
not
have to
wanna
get
get
up
up
at
and
like 4
mhm.
a.m. and
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and my
no,
last
no.
job, I worked from home a lot, so it was a lot easier. I'm acting like
Still
I did a lot
hard.
yeah, yeah,
Still
Nate
hard,
you
but
still had done a lot of the bottle feeding of the calves, but whenever I would help, I worked from home, so it was a lot easier. So now not so much, so we're probably just gonna do, like, a young one, um, and I don't know, I don't we only need 1, but I feel like he needs a friend, like, he
yeah, that's how
needs
we
a
always
little
feel too.
herd, he needs a
And then
little
you
friend
can sell it, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly, so we and Nate is a butcher, like, hobbyist butcher, so we don't ever send ours out to, like, a processor. I don't know if that will change in the future because he's very, very busy now.
But it
Uh
saves so much
Mhm.
money to do it yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and we have all the equipment. We have a whole
That's the expensive part.
gantry crane.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, we have all the equipment stuff from when we were doing it big time. I say big
right.
time, but
I mean, it
bigger
was a lot.
time.
It was a
It was
lot.
a lot. Yeah, we have like we have a deli slicer, we have all the saws and we have
Yeah.
all this
Oh my
stuff.
gosh.
It's just a
Everything.
lot. It's a full day. I mean, the whole process takes more than a day, but
And yeah, and
oof.
then the packaging
Mhm.
after the
Oh my gosh,
processing is
yeah.
also so time consuming.
Yes, the packaging is a whole I remember at your house,
Oh
our
my gosh.
packaging oh my
We
gosh, I feel like
and
we're
then
all
our
so over it.
and they all the vacuum sealers would die because we were
Yes.
doing it so much, so then you have to wait. And then so that's kind of now that's why we're like, let's just send it off
Mhm.
because well, one, Jacob's not a butcher. I mean, we could probably figure it out. We could
Yeah.
YouTube and probably figure out, I mean, we would butcher the butchering
Yeah.
situation, but it would be edible. And then, but I don't want to stay up all night packaging and we're just like, send it off.
Yes, that would
Not my
be
problem.
oh,
And then,
yeah.
so pork chop, we got back. They send the sausage home, all seasoned, ready to
Oh,
go.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, don't have to do anything, just open and eat.
Yeah, I know. Was it delicious?
Oh, so good. We just
Yeah.
had pork chops for dinner tonight, which
Oh, cool.
they were so good. Pork chop from pork chop. It was
So it was the
great.
right decision.
It was the right decision for
Yeah,
sure.
good, good.
And
Well
it does make me want to have another pig because we love like bacon and sausage and pork chops and
yeah.
pork food, but we might just buy a pig from down the road.
Yeah, I know. When you have it available, and we know a couple people who still kind of sell meat and do that thing, it's
Yeah,
like, oh, what is the cost benefit of raising it ourselves versus not
exact.
having to
That
worry?
was the thing. We did not save at all any
I
money
don't
raising
think
a
so.
pig. Spent
No.
we definitely way spent more raising the pig. Like the chickens make plenty of sense.
Yeah,
Like we can justify the chickens and the cow, but and the lambs, but the pig so expensive, so much
no.
food. No,
Yeah, so
can't
stressful.
justify it.
So everything. Oh, yeah. I know it's been nice not having to feed the pigs every day, but when they come back shortly, because Nate will be back for good in 2 weeks, for good, knock on wood.
Yeah.
So I kind of forgot about what it's like to raise piglets because we had gotten the piglets like 2 years ago, and then we just had the adult pigs. And so these are our litter from
It's
the
been a
adult pigs.
while.
So yeah, we haven't had piglets in so long. And
Oh,
yeah, we'll see how it goes and what Nate's plans are, if he wants to butcher them, if we're gonna send it off. But I think that I know you had that hookup with your butcher, but I think the timeline on that is still really, really far
usually,
out.
yeah, really far out.
It's gonna plan
So
ahead.
you may be getting a cow sometime-ish. Pigs come home soonish.
Mm-hmm.
Chickens, yes, this summer you're doing chickens again.
Hey, the last thing that we talked about was yes, with like medium sized batch of chickens. We
Like
had been
just for y'all, like mainly for y'all.
Yeah, yeah. His mom usually likes to buy chickens from us because they're really into all this too. They have an amazing
Cool.
garden. They just don't have the ability or the desire to like
The meat.
raise their own. Yeah. Um, so the last time that we talked about it was we might do like 2 batches of 50, which
Oh.
seems like a lot, but we had been doing batches of 80 every
Like
month all summer long. So 2 batches of 50 doesn't seem
seems
as,
more reasonable.
yeah, seems more reasonable. Uh, but we are we're going to be redoing our porch soon. Like we are like in it, like we are very close to
It's
doing our
happening.
porch. But we have our big giant brooder on our porch right
Oh
now.
yeah.
And it had been a brooder that Nate had made because we were doing so many chicks and it was hard to have anywhere for them.
But your
The,
porch is covered, right?
yes, yeah, we have a
So
covered porch.
where's the brooder going?
That's the thing. So it's so big. We hadn't planned on, and we had kind of did it really fast
Hmm.
because the other brooder that we had was like falling apart. Like we needed another brooder fast. So it's cool and it's awesome and it's giant, but it's not made to be moved. Like
Mm.
I don't know how we're going to get off the porch without taking it apart.
I was gonna
So
say,
we
take
are
it apart.
we've got to figure out if we're gonna like how we're gonna move this freaking brooder or if we're gonna do something else. So that's on my mind right now because I'm like, where are we gonna put it if we don't have it on the
Yeah.
porch? So I'm hoping we're not. I don't know. It'll be a lot of moving parts, especially with how we're gonna build a porch. Nate wants to do it himself because he is Nate. But if we contract and all that kind of stuff, all that to say, if we have to wait until after the porch is built to do the chickens, I'm worried about
Then
that because
right, the timeline.
the timeline might be kind of funky. So it's just a lot of
Yeah, that is a lot. We're trying to figure out, we have kind of the same brooder situation. Like, so we have the shed where our old chicken mansion was in the backyard. It has like an overhang that has dirt and stuff under it where the kids
mm,
play all the time. And that's where we kind of rigged up some brooders too. And they were like not movable brooders.
yeah.
And we made like 3 huge ones and they worked great. But the problem was that was the kids' dirt. So like in the summer when we're in like full on hatching business mode,
Mm.
it's just straight chicken poop and flies. And like I
Yeah.
just could not have the kids playing in that anymore. I was just
No,
like, it
yeah.
was gross. It was too much. Like, oh, so I lost it and we took the brooders kind of apart. They might have just broken a little bit, but I think it's fixable. And we moved them to the barn. But now the problem is our barn is at its capacity for electricity
Hmm.
with like freezers and stuff back there. So now we're like, we need to get our electrician friend to come check it out and see
Mm,
what we can do because I don't know if I even want the brooders in the barn with the heat lamps on all the time and like risk
yeah.
the barn burning down.
That happened to
um,
our friend last year, actually.
that's so terrifying. That's like
Yeah,
my
it's
biggest
awful.
fear
Yeah, it was really
because
awful for them. Don't let that happen.
I know that's what I'm saying. We have like a lot of important animals back there, and that would be
Hmm.
like I would cry forever. Like,
Yeah.
that's just sad. And so all that to say, I don't know what we're gonna do with our brooders either because I'm not having them back here in the backyard anymore, even though it was all
Mm,
safe and connected and good. And also, I don't know about the barn, but we kind of usually start hatching in February, like late
mhm.
February, beginning of March. So we kind of got to like figure this out.
Yeah, it's so much to think about, which is probably why not everybody does animals. It's a
That's what we do.
commitment. It's a commitment of time. It's a commitment of y- like light, there's a life in your hands and
Yeah.
I know it's not going to it has a deadline on its life because it's going to be meat, but for that time there's so
Yeah.
many moving parts and so many things to think about like from beginning to end and no one wants to get stuck in getting animals and not knowing what to do with them. That just puts everyone in a bad situation.
Yes. But, we always figure it out and we work really well under
Yeah.
pressure. So we probably won't do anything until like February 25th.
Yeah.
And then we'll be like, I want to start hatching chicks. And then we'll get our crap together and it will be fixed in a week. But until then, I'm going to stress and stress and stress and think about all the things that need to happen
Yeah.
for that to happen.
So you guys are you, when you're talking about that, are you talking about the meat chicks or you're talking about hatching
Both.
for,
So
yeah,
we
okay.
get 100 meat birds at a time.
Mhm.
And with our 3 brooders, we split it up evenly. And then we also have 3 chicken tractors. So it's 30-ish, 33,
Mhm.
whatever chicks in each one. And so we usually start hatching our laying hens first. And then I take a
Mhm.
break. The meat birds come, I think like April, May, and then they go in and take over the whole thing.
Mhm.
And then once they get out, I start hatching our other chicks again. So I
Okay.
use it for both, but I guess I don't technically need it till the meat birds get here because I don't have to hatch and sell our laying hens, but
Right.
it's a good source of income. And that's how we pay for all of my chickens year round. And it's how we
Yeah.
pay for the meat birds also.
Interesting. Oh, I wish we had more of a market.
So then also like when our dogs have puppies, pays for all the
Mhm.
dog food for the year and like vet bills and stuff like that. So everything we do technically covers it. We break even for the most part, except the pig this year.
So do you, I feel like I was going to ask about the livestock guardian dogs, but let me stay on chickens for a little bit. So
Okay.
you, what you said, usually in like February is when you start ordering your meat chicks.
We get our meat birds usually in like April-ish,
April. Okay, you said that. Okay.
April or May. And usually the past 3 years, all 3 years that they've come, Jacob has so happened to be out of town.
Oh my
So I've gone to the post office and set all the chicks up by myself. And
God.
it's not like it's his fault. It's just how it,
Yeah.
how it happened. But
Oh my
so
gosh.
usually he's out of town and it's chaos and all 100 birds get here but the kids are cute and they help you, you dip all the beaks and do all the
Yeah.
things. But usually I start hatching. We have the breeding chickens in the barn, my laying hens that
Mhm.
we hatch and sell. And usually I start that in about February, March, because
Okay.
people are start looking for their chicks around
Yeah.
then. So then they start laying in like August or whatever. And
Okay.
the market is there when we start in February. And
Okay.
that's only not too far away, month and a half
Yeah.
away.
I know. Gosh, with that new year, it comes so fast.
It
And y'all
comes so
get
fast.
Cornish crosses.
We do get Cornish cross and I love it. I love them. They taste
Y'all did
great.
a heritage breed before though, right?
We tried Heritage Cornish Cross, which
Okay.
were also really good, but they take a lot longer to grow out. Um, and to be honest, I just didn't have the patience for it.
Mhm. Yeah.
It was just too long and
Mhm.
it just felt more, we got mm, more instant gratification, from just raising them quickly and having them eat in
Yeah.
the freezer. It was a
Yeah.
lot more time consuming and it would take a few years to get the Heritage Cornish breeding situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh, I know how that is. Yeah. We a year ago or 2 years ago now, I can't remember, we had started to try our hand at making our own version of the Cornish cross, which we
Hmm.
talked about a little bit in
Hmm.
a podcast past, and that it just did not work out very well. I don't know what they do with their mixes. I mean, we tried and it just, I don't know how the heck,
I don't
what
know.
kind of
And
secret
I
sauce.
don't like that we have to rely
Mhm.
on the hatcheries to buy chicken because like yes, we're really self-sufficient, but if we can't order it from there, we don't have chicken. And that's what we
Yeah.
don't like. That's why he's like,
Yeah.
let's try to find some chickens. I mean, we have like the dual purpose laying hens, but
But
to
it's
be honest,
so
their meat
different.
sucks.
I
Like
mean, it
it's
is
gross.
for people that haven't like experienced like a Cornish cross, a meat bird. I can't tell. I mean,
You can't like
it's
I mean, I
crazy.
would eat it if I was starving and there was nothing in
Yeah.
the grocery store, but I wouldn't just choose to eat the dual purpose bird.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's the way that the Cornish crosses grow is just so crazy to me, and I don't
It
understand
is
how
crazy.
they get them to grow so fast. And we had
What's the
been
other really common one?
um
The
I don't remember.
sorry, keep talking. It'll come to me.
I know what you're talking about. I just
Freedom
can't.
Ranger?
Freedom Rangers, yeah.
Okay.
Jinx. Yeah,
Okay.
the Freedom Rangers. But those, I don't think we've tried those, or if we did, we only tried a couple of them. But you can still tell the difference. They do better with
Mm.
free ranging, because by the time that our Cornish crosses are ready to harvest, they just sit there and they're
Yeah, they're
just like
huge.
serving. Yes, which is like gross on one hand, and you look at
I
them and you're like, whenever I put
know.
pictures on Instagram, I like caveat it with like, they're supposed to look like
They
this.
look like they're supposed to be missing feathers and look like they're dying.
I know we had last year when we were doing all our birds, we had gotten so burnt out. We There was one Cornish cross that we had on our last butcher day that just kept getting out of the pen. And so we ended up just putting her in with our egg layers, and we just gave her a pardon because she had such a will to live. She was our only Cornish cross to ever like
To make
actively
it
tried it.
through.
Yeah. And she lived for like 6 months. Like, she did finally pass away, as they do. But she lived in there with the egg layers for months and months. I mean, she must have
Did she ever
been
lay an egg?
no, she never
No.
laid an egg. Nope. No, but she hung out and she lived for
She
way
lived her best
longer.
life.
Yeah, she lived for over a year, and that's unusual for like Cornish
Wow.
crosses. Yeah.
That is super unusual.
Yeah. So,
I don't understand how
yeah.
they like reproduce them and keep them going.
Yeah.
Because when they're at like 3-4 months, they're like barely hanging on.
No.
People are
Oh,
like, "How do you eat your own chicken?" I'm like, "Trust me, if you saw these things, you wouldn't feel bad."
yes. Yeah, it's I'm still I need to learn how to like make the cut. Like, I want to be able
Be able
to
to do
do
that.
that, and I think even though it's really hard emotionally and you like it's not something that you want to do, I truly do believe like if you're going to eat meat, you need to know the
I completely
like
agree.
you need to be willing to do that. Like, if it's hard to
I agree.
describe, especially like I'm trying to tiptoe around it, but a lot of our family, like you said, and friends are like, ew, how could you do that? Like, you've seen it grow up. How can you kill something and then eat it? That's so barbaric. But in my mind, it's so
On the
much more
flip side,
ethical. Like,
right?
it's so much more ethical
How
because,
can you eat something that you don't
yeah,
even know? Like
that had a
you
terrible life. You don't
you
appreciate it the way that
exactly.
we do.
So this
And,
was the
uh-huh.
first year that I usually I know we're like trying to talk all nice.
Yeah.
Jacob or my neighbor are usually the one that does the deed that actually
Yeah.
kills the chickens. You know, we use a knife and you cut the
Mhm.
head off really
Yeah.
quickly, painless. They don't feel anything. They don't know what's coming. You hang them upside down. They're in a euphoric state.
Mhm.
The last things they remember are peace and tranquility.
Mhm.
And I just haven't been able to do that until this year. I was
Mhm.
like, what you're feeling, I'm like, you know what? I need to practice what I preach.
Mhm.
I am connected with these animals. I'm the one that takes care of them all the time. You know, they know me. I'm going to be
Mhm.
eating them. I'm the one preparing the food. I'm
Yeah.
going to be the one handling it. Like, I need to grow up, man
Mhm.
up and do it, you know? And I did it. And the first time it was weird.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I was like, okay, like I feel connected. Like I
Yeah.
feel like like I don't feel bad. I feel,
Mhm.
and I mean, I don't feel good, but like,
Yeah.
if like it feels okay, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm doing this and I feel like I'm doing it right and I'm doing the best I can. And that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
And I felt like I took a big step and like it was a good step in the right direction
Yeah.
of, because it's different than like hunting, you know,
Mhm.
that's very
Yeah.
hands off, you know,
Yep.
doing a chicken is completely different.
Oh, yeah, they talk about that in murder videos all the time, like, with a knife, it's personal.
It is personal.
It's, like, probably not a very good way to say it, but I love that you like, that inspires me, and it's not something I want to do, but I think to feel that uncomfortableness,
Yeah.
and I think it reminds us too that we do have a heart. Like, we're told all the time how cold, like, we're just so heartless,
Right.
but, like,
Just hard. Yeah.
feeling that sadness and that like grounding, I don't know, I need to be better at that. I'm
It was
been
hard. Yeah.
win.
No, no. And I mean, that's just part of the whole thing, you know,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we obviously love our animals, but yeah, we also got to feed the family, you know,
Mhm.
and people have been doing this since the beginning of
Yep.
time. And we as a whole, like as the humans as a whole, have just become so disconnected from food we don't even know where our food comes from. Most of
No,
our food
people
isn't
don't
even
look at
real
it.
food,
Yeah.
like, and I feel like we're taking steps in the right direction to bring back,
Mhm.
the what we've lost as a human race.
Yeah. And we had last year, we also had really bad predator problems. And I tell
Oh, I
you what,
remember
if
that.
I'm picking a way for an animal that I love to go, have have you ever seen the way that an animal, like a predator, eats their prey? I mean, they would rip the wings off,
Savage.
and we would have, like, just a chicken, like, with one wing,
And they
you know
just
what I
kill to
mean?
kill. They're not
And
even
it
eating it.
no,
I'm
yes,
like, if you're to
they
kill
w
it, at least eat it.
I mean, the like, oh my gosh, like, I think we had to put some down because, like, their injuries were so bad. I'm like, the way that we kill our animals is so much better than the
It's way
wild.
better than the wild.
Ah,
These guys live their best life. They don't know anything's coming.
no,
They live
yes.
100% good days, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, you don't wanna be a wild chicken out there 'cause
And
there's no.
speaking of wild chickens, so in our barn we have on either side of my breeding pens are my laying hen flock, and we built a chicken yurt. I don't know if this was
Yeah.
mentioned. I built a chicken yurt in the back in Marley's, our milk cow's pasture, and a lot of roosters were still in both pens,
Okay.
and they're like too old now for us to just pull because
Mhm.
the kids are always with me, and
Yeah,
we tell them the truth about everything, and
yeah,
we can't just, there's no justifying that, and I don't want
yeah.
to do that. So now I have about 15 roosters in this pasture behind me
Oh,
free ranging
no.
because
We were
I'm
just
just going
talking
to
about
let
that.
nature take its toll.
Yeah.
Just they can live their happy lives, and whatever happens happens, but I will throw them a little food here and there, and they can just roam and do as they please and rooster fight or whatever happens.
Yeah,
But
oh god.
I didn't know what
The
else to do.
cockfights out there must be crazy.
The second we let them go, they all started because they were from two different pins. So
Oh,
the ones
yeah.
from each pins like didn't know each other.
Oh,
But so
no.
now we're just like we were already like a rooster orphanage because
Mhm.
people in the city can't have
Yep,
either one rooster or no roosters.
right.
So we've taken in like 4 or 5 roosters. And so now there's just like, but they're bug patrol. So I'm cool with
There
it.
you go. That's the job. We had, an elderly couple kinda close to our house, and they what did they call it? Like, Nana's apiary or something like that, and
That'll
essentially
be
it
me.
was like a rooster, like,
Sanctuary.
sanctuary, and I've never understood how they could possibly do that. Like, I like the idea, like, I love that. I'm sure they got a lot of people dropping off their roosters.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know if they I always assumed that they just ate them because how can you continually have new adult roosters coming onto like, they
Well,
would hate
we
the
have an
roosters.
experiment going on. I'll let you know in like
Okay.
a week if any of them what happens.
So that's kinda what you do. So the city people come bring back the roosters to you.
Yeah. Or like if I get it wrong, like with a few friends, I can usually tell if it's a hen or a rooster, but sometimes I get it
Right.
wrong. And so they'll like bring it back and I exchange it. And so, I'm cool with culling roosters when they're little, because you can't have so many. But now I just don't even know what to do. So we're just going to have all of these roosters. But we do have like a lot of hawks and vultures and coyotes and like animals. So I don't have a rooster chicken coop out. They're just out there living their life, eating bugs in the pasture
Yeah.
until
Fertilizing.
nature happens.
Well, I hope that you don't, like, bring predators on there, on
I
your property like
know.
they attract them.
I know. I mean, and I don't know if the roosters are even nice or mean. So we might have to do some reevaluating in a little while. But for now, they're just eating bugs and
There
we're
you go,
just
and if
going to
they're
let them
far
do their
away,
thing.
if they're not gonna, like, poop all over the place, if they're just back
That's,
there,
yeah.
like, who
If they start
cares?
coming in my
Yeah.
backyard, we're going to have problems.
Yeah. Oh, can you hear them from the house cock-a-doodling?
Not inside. We've never had that problem, but outside for sure. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh my gosh, we can hear we've had a lot of roosters in our lifetime here, and we only have one right now, but our out even though our chicken coop is, like, very close to the house, our neighbors they, like, free range their chickens. It's been actually kind of an issue for several years, but they just,
Jeez.
like, let their birds like naturally
Everywhere.
populate like hundreds, and hearing hundreds of roosters
Oh my God.
cock-a-doodling in the morning, it's like, "Burp," and God forbid you go out in the middle of the night and wake one of them up because it'll be
Oh,
like,
then they all start freaking out.
yeah, and the way that our property is set up, it's kind of weird. We kind of live in a neighborhood. Like, it's not a neighborhood.
We call it
Live
a
out in the
neighborhood too.
sticks, but like on
There's
our
people.
road, yeah, there's people, and we all just have like long properties and stuff. And so all of us have chickens. So like if you go out at like 1 in the morning and slam your door too hard, it'll be
They
like,
all,
"Burp, burp, burp,
the
burp,
alarms
burp, burp."
through the neighborhood.
Yes, oh my gosh, and it will go on forever. It's the worst. Ugh, but we don't have to do your meat birds crow? I don't think they get old enough
Mm-mm.
to crow usually.
Not
I
that,
haven't seen
no,
it
now
yet.
that you say that, I've never even thought about that.
I know,
No,
I
I
hadn't
don't,
really either.
no, I don't think they do, Crow. How many chicken tractors do y'all have?
Well, so we have been using them for 2 years, so they are kind of on their last leg. We've gone through a couple designs. Right now, we have 2. Right now, we
Okay.
only have 2 because we used them so much
Yeah.
that
I mean,
they
that
would
one
fall
year.
apart. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta chuck some, and, I think we had a storm and one literally, like, exploded, like,
Jeez.
it, like, got caught in the wind and just, like, everywhere, so we have
Yikes.
those parts around. I don't know I feel like we need to scrap them and get a better design, especially now that we're not gonna be having as many. We don't really need it as big.
Right.
So, I might have to consult Nate because 'cause they're hard to move and, like, the pressure,
Are y'all's
um,
heavy?
it well, they're made out of PVC pipe
Oh,
and
that's right.
corrugated metal, so they're not super heavy, but it's just, they're just huge. I think they're like
Yeah.
I'm always so bad at guessing. I wanna say, like, 6 by 6. Like, they're big, and so when you have to pick them up in a certain way or, like,
Yeah.
the PVC pipe will, like, bend and get all kind of, like, funky, and then
Ours
it gets
are,
caught under it.
yes, it's so hard. Ours are so heavy. They're made by 2x4s and they're like,
Oh, but that's pretty,
I
yeah.
don't know, I'm bad at this too, like 10x10. They're huge,
Yeah,
like, or eight, I don't know, 8 or 10 feet. So it's a square. They're
yeah,
huge.
yeah.
I cannot pull it. I personally cannot pull it. And it has old tin on top for like the shade. So Jacob has to do it. And they are heavy.
Mhm.
Like we need to put wheels on them and move it with like a truck or something because
Yeah.
I mean I can't even get it to budge. I don't know how he pulls it.
But then they
And
get
I'm pretty
stuck
strong
under
and
it.
I literally cannot, yes, they do. So it's a
Yeah.
two-person job because I'm in the back like shooing
Pushing
them.
them, yes.
Yes, and then he's pulling it.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like there's no great way. I mean, I need to do more research and like see what other people have done. Ours works, it's not that heavy, but the cons are with the sun, it's hard to um like not protect it from the sun, but just like this UV rays makes the PVC pipe like really prone to breaking.
Mm,
It's light, but the
interesting.
chicken, like, they still kinda get their feet caught under it, and you have to, like, push them.
Yeah.
It's hard, but just it's not impossible. It's not that bad. We could do it for another year, but
Yes, it
I
could
feel
be.
there's gotta be a better
There's
way.
got to be a better way. And like I see all these super nice, like big, tall ones with doors that
Yeah.
you can walk in and stuff. But
Right.
we also just have a hard time justifying spending that much up front on the chicken tractors because we're
Mhm.
like, I mean, eventually it would pay itself off, but
I feel
I
like
don't
only if you're
know.
selling, though, because I
Yeah.
really don't think you'll make that much of a profit
And then
on it
like if we were to
on
move
sale.
like those giant huge things wouldn't come with us. And so that
No.
just it would just be a waste. And like you said, like ours are working, like it's fine. It just sucks for Jacob because they're really heavy.
Yeah. Kind of thinking, oh man, the process isn't always the funnest. It's fun when they're little, they're cute
It's so cute
chicks.
when they're little. And when they come, the kids love it. And there's like a
Yeah.
hundred cute little yellow chicks everywhere and they're so adorable. And then like 2 weeks go by and I'm like, these are the ugliest birds I've ever seen in my life. And then a few months go by and you're like, I didn't think they could get any uglier
I
or
know
grosser.
exactly. Yeah. But then we are going I thought we would never run out of chicken. I mean, we had a poultry freezer, we called it, and it was packed full of chicken, and
I
we are
feel like I've
finally, like,
asked you this before.
dwindling.
Do y'all package them whole or do you like part them when you're doing it or both?
We do both. We because we do like to have I mean, it's easier in parts, like, it's
Yeah.
just so much easier, but really, I don't mind just doing them whole, like, it doesn't save me as much time, as I thought it would to have them in I mean, I guess on one hand it does, but when I'm able to, like, think ahead and unthaw a whole chicken, I've
Yeah.
been really good with parting it out myself, and I have, like now I'm in a routine because the kids are in a picky stage, and so
Mhm.
the only way they like chicken is in chicken nugget form, but, they like homemade chicken nuggets too, so I just breast out the chicken, fry
Yeah.
up some chicken nuggets for them, and then usually I, put the rest in the, crock pot, and we'll do whatever pulled chicken dish that we
Oh,
want, but
nice.
usually it is mainly because of the breast. Because if we're gonna make, like, a baked chicken dish, we
Right.
want
You
to
need the
have more
breast.
than 2 breath.
Yeah.
We need
We
more
need
breath.
more breast. I know that's what we were trying to talk about because we have all of ours whole, which is
Mhm,
working for now. Well, the kids are still smaller because I can make like 3 different meals out of it. Like
mhm,
I'll part the chicken one night and do like thighs, or just legs and wings for the kids.
mhm,
And then the next night we'll do the 2 chicken breasts and just split it between all of us. And then the next night we'll do the 2 thighs with like chicken fried rice or something.
mhm,
And so it's working, but it would be nice to have like 4 breasts at a time for
mhm.
the whole family, or do like a bunch of wings, like that kind of
Yep.
thing. So
Yeah, and that's
I think I'm going to do both next year.
yeah, I had forgotten about the wings too, that was a big thing too, because we do love our wings. So
Hmm.
we part I don't know the ratio because it changed with however many chickens we had,
Yeah.
but we do both, so that we can get a bunch of, like, wings, and then whenever we package them, we usually do between 4 to 6 breasts in a package, 4 to 6 thighs, so then we can make, like, a dish
Yes.
with them and have left you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's good to have
I think
both,
that's what we're going to
but
do.
it
Yeah.
is time consuming, and the vacuum seal bags is definitely a factor. If people are trying to sell, like, do not forget the cost of vacuum seal bags if that's how you're doing it, because that is such a big
They're
cost, and I
pricey.
feel like not a lot of people think of that when they factor in what they're gonna sell their meat for or barter or whatever, like, the
Yeah,
value. Don't forget the vacuum seal bags.
that's true. Cause I didn't think about that because with the whole chickens, I have these like shrink wrap bags that you
Mhm.
like dunk in the hot water and they shrink
Yep.
wrap. You just zip tie 'em or whatever for the whole chickens. But for parting it, you would have to actually part it and vacuum seal it. That's
Mhm.
true.
Yep. Yeah, we do the, shrink blah, 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 blah,
Blah, blah,
shrink
blah, blah.
wrap bags. What
Yes.
do you use for the straw to keep the air do you put a straw in it? How do you
Ours came with like a rubber straw. So I do it with
Okay.
that and then it's a 2-person job and like I dunk it and it comes out and then somebody else
Yeah,
zip ties it.
zip ties
The
it.
first year we did it, there was like these metal clamps and
Okay, yeah.
that worked really well. But then
Mhm.
this year, for some reason, none of us could figure out how to get it tight enough. So we just zip tied it.
Yeah, the only thing is it is a pain to unthaw like, if you unthaw them in water, like, having it not get submerged in the water when they're in that you know what I mean? Like, when you're
Sunked.
unthawing them,
Yeah.
yeah, so but then when you put it just in the fridge, it takes so long to unthaw it.
So
That's
long.
part of it. Oh,
That is that is the hard part. Like all this homegrown meat and
Mhm.
stuff. I'm thinking about dinner at like 6 a.m. or
Yeah.
the day before.
Yeah, the
I'm
day
like,
before.
what's for dinner tomorrow? What's for dinner the next day? Like you
Yeah,
gotta
that
home cook everything.
it's hard because I am not one to want to do that, like, I like to be in the mood for what I'm cooking. I'm not very good at meal planning because 'cause I'm like, "Well, what if I
Prepare.
don't feel like it on that
Exactly.
day?" But we just unthaw I like to unthaw. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a chicken dish and I'll unthaw it and then I will figure out
Then
what I'm
figure it
gonna,
out.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's what we do too.
just pick our meats.
I was completely unprepared for how much my life would revolve around food, especially now. Grow the food, raise the food,
Mm-hmm.
feed the food,
You see
butcher
this?
the food, package the food, cook the food, eat the food, do it
Ex-
again.
yes. Oh my gosh, that is so
Literally
true.
everything is food.
And gosh, especially with all of that, yes. But sourdough is
Oh my
a
God.
whole different level of like thinking of food all the time. Because like I do love making a sourdough bread, but lately I've been on a yeast kick because I
Yeah,
just you have to
so much
do
easier.
all the timing and the preparation, and you gotta
Yes. Oh my
feed it
God.
before you make like your all
And
that
then put
stuff.
it in the fridge and then let it rise and then do this and do that. I have
And
so many alarms on my phone.
then when you have the loaf, it doesn't I mean, because it doesn't have any preservatives, it doesn't last as long as a normal bread. So you got to be thinking of all the different food that you want to make out of it. Yeah, so I haven't been doing my sourdough as much, even though I love it. I've
Oh
been
my
doing
gosh.
yeast
Also
bread.
with the sourdough, I had to learn the whole entire metric system
Oh yeah,
because they're like talking in grams and I'm like, oh, can
what
I get a cup version, please?
exactly? I know. Have you been loving it though?
Yes,
All
I
your
have
bread
been
looks
loving
so
it.
good.
I get really like anxious starting something new, but
Yeah,
then I just have to like do it.
yeah.
That was same with yogurt, and I have an instant pot, and all I do is hit a yogurt button. And for some reason, I was like so nervous to do it, and then now I'm like yogurt making a yogurt. I do yogurt like weekly,
A
but for Greek
yogurt weekly.
yogurt, I yogurt weekly with my sourdough. And so with Greek yogurt, you have to strain it. So you
Okay,
like do it in the instant pot and then strain it. And then so I'm doing all these like new kitchen things that I was so nervous to do that are so simple,
so
just time
cool.
consuming.
Very time consuming. Are you burnt out from it at all, or it's just like so
No,
rewarding?
I love
Good.
it. I still love it. But I feel like the summer when things get crazy again and I have all the animals
Uh,
back and all the garden chores and all the garden preserving, all of that stuff is going to get put on hold.
Have you found what to do with all the extra milk that you had been given to pork chop?
We have been splitting it up between all the animals. So like the cats get a
Okay.
little, the dogs get a little, the
Aw.
chickens are getting a lot. We've actually been using a lot of it. And I've just been making butter and freezing it like crazy. And
Cool.
then the skimmed milk goes to the chickens or dogs or whatever. I just gave some to the neighbors. We have a lot
Hmm.
of people on our milk buying list. So starting next week when Jacob goes back to work, we'll be selling a lot of it, which will be great because Marley eats a lot and
Hmm.
her feed's expensive.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, well, that's good.
But
A
it's good.
whole new
It's good.
venture.
Yes. And now if our chickens would just start laying eggs again, we're getting like 4 eggs a day, which is better than the none.
Yeah.
But uh,
They'll get back
you
into
don't
it.
think about like when you're looking at it and it's like 200 to 250 eggs a year or whatever. That's a few months without eggs. You don't,
Mhm.
and it seems like so long.
Yeah, I can't believe our two have still been, our two new ones, Flappy and Flappy, are still laying every single day. It's weird. Like, I'm happy about it. I am
No, that's
so
great.
happy, but I'm confused. And one of Black Flappy is the Black Copper Moran. So I don't know. Every single day, two eggs in there. It's been,
That's awesome.
I mean, now the days are getting longer, but our other ones still aren't laying.
No.
Dog bed still hasn't laid a damn
Oh,
egg
dog
in
bed.
months. And so I am so thankful I went on that weirdo Facebook
Yes.
marketplace
And now you have
posting.
eggs.
Yeah, I might have to go back to him again. He's got like magic chickens.
You need to. Our very first chickens that we had, they started laying, it was like November, December,
Yeah.
like late. And they laid all through the winter too.
Yeah, I wonder, did they do that the next year, or was it just like a new chicken
It
thing?
was just, I think it was just a new chicken thing.
Ah, dang.
But but maybe,
Maybe,
maybe these guys
maybe.
are just in
No.
sync. Then they'll
Yeah.
just keep going.
Oh, I'll have to post back and see if they lay next year.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we are almost at an hour. Is there anything? I know we kind of skipped around. It's
We
kind
did.
of
We kind of a sporadic one, but we
yeah,
did talk about some meat in there.
yeah,
Well, it's
exactly.
just there's not too much going on right now, but
Right. Thinking, yeah,
we
looking back,
we
we
do
probably should
have
look up.
all of the meat, just not currently on the farm.
Right. Maybe we can do another podcast another day with like I don't know, maybe we could think it out a little bit more of like
Yeah.
what we do and how like how we do it. That's
And
the
like
one
why?
thing from I did a YouTube video years ago now, probably like 4 years ago, of Nate butchering a
I remember
cow.
it.
And for whatever it's probably that thumbnail picture. It
The
went
most viewed
viral.
one.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it tens of thousands of views, like so, like totally viral from for my channel. I don't even have 1,000 subscribers, and
That's amazing.
it's still people watch it every single day. And that's the number one complaint, like negative comment that I get on it
Yeah.
is too much filler talk, no instructions. So people do like instructions, but I
People
mean,
want it.
it's those things are so nuanced and there's so much that goes into it. But maybe we can do another podcast with like more information on me. I know that your
Yeah,
husband wants to do more informational ones. We'll
for
do more
sure.
informational ones, but
Well,
we're just
because
getting all like the shout out.
he wants us to teach people all of our
Yeah.
knowledge is
Yeah.
his view. He's like, you guys have learned so much and you know so much. You need to share it,
Yeah.
which
Well, it's scary
we
because
will do that too.
we know experience things, but it's hard when there is so much conflicting information everywhere. You know, you think you know one thing and you learn it from one person,
Yeah,
and another person thinks it's the total wrong information. And it's, I mean, that's how I feel like Nate and I are all the time. I'm like, this is what I
right.
learned, and he's like, no, that's totally wrong. This is what I learned.
And you both can be right.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I guess
Yeah,
to
maybe we can do that because people do want to know how and what and when and all the details and like what not everybody does what we do.
yeah, exactly. So if you have any questions on what you
Yeah, like
any
specific
yeah,
questions that
yeah,
you want to
specific,
learn about.
then let us know on our Instagram, or if you're watching us on YouTube, comment below, give us some direction. We're totally cool with that.
Yeah,
We are
we
just
know some things
we know things. We're just also best friends that like to talk about
and we
farming.
just get distracted sometimes. But if you ask me a question, I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, I know. If we get enough questions, we'll do a Q&A episode. I
That would
hope
be cool.
we're gonna need to put that on our Instagrams. I want to do a Q&A one.
I'll ask you
So,
questions. You ask me
yeah,
questions.
I got a lot of them. Well, so between the eggnog and it being 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah, it's late.
who
It's
knows what this
fine.
episode was, but I love
But it was
hearing it. It
fun.
was fun. That's what it's all about. But for all the viewers, Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
I'm hoping to, I'm sure I'll get this up tonight, which it is Saturday, the 30th. Maybe it'll be up on the
Crazy.
31st, but Happy
Oh,
New Year.
well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes, we wish you all the best blessings and for a good year. And follow us, like us, subscribe to us,
Do all the
and
things.
ask us all the questions.
Ask some questions. Yes.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.